Thank you again for joining us in Mathcon universe and the wonderful world of mathematics. Today our focus will be on strategic problem solving in key concept of algebraic inequalities. Again, our focus will be on strategic problem solving in key concept of algebraic inequalities. What is algebraic inequality? Well, algebraic inequality is a very key problem in algebra. Many problems in business science and technology can now be developed and solved without algebraic inequality. So today we are going to be looking at what we call linear algebraic inequality. Linear algebraic inequality. So, and what is the first step in this problem solving process? What will be our first step? Well, our first step will be to use what we call distributive property. Distributive property. Let us see. Distributive property. If A, B, and C represent any real number, according to distributive property, so we are going to use this idea as our first step. First step. Use distributive property. Distributive property. That says that if A is A to B minus C, where A, B, and C are any real number, we can multiply A by B and then A by C, which is the same thing as A times B minus A times C. And this is known as distributive property. So we are going to use this property in solving this linear algebraic inequality problem. First step, use distributive property. So that means we're going to multiply negative 2 by 3x, and then negative 2 by negative 1. So what is negative 2 times 3x? What is negative 2 times 3x? Negative 2 times 3x, of course, is negative 6x. And what is negative 2 times negative 1? Negative 2 times negative 1 will be what? Positive 2. Positive 2. And then we have to bring down the negative 8 here. And then bring down the inequality symbol. The problem of inequality. Linear algebraic inequality. So what will be our next step in this strategic problem solving process? Our next step will be to combine like terms. Combine like terms. So the 2 and the negative 8 are like terms. So therefore, our step number 2 is to combine like terms. Second step. Is to combine like terms. Combine like terms. What? Again, does it mean to combine like terms? Bring things that are like together. That is what it means to combine like terms. So therefore, we're going to combine positive 2 and negative 8. So what is positive 2 and negative 8? What is it? It is going to be a negative 6. Negative 6. So we need to bring down the negative 6x. So now we have a negative 6x minus 6. Negative 6x minus 6. And then we have to bring down the greater or equal symbol and the 12 on the right side. Inequality symbol and then the 12 on the right side. So what will be our next step in this strategic problem solving process? What will be our next step? Our next step, of course, is going to be to move the negative 6 to the right side of the algebraic inequality. Notice the goal is to solve for x. We are solving for x, so we are going to move the negative 6 to the right side of the inequality. But notice also that whenever you move a quantity across the inequality symbol, the sign of that quantity must change. In this case, because negative 6 being moved to the right side, the sign of the quantity must change. So therefore, we're going to have negative 6x is greater or equal to 12 plus 6. 12 plus 6. So, what is our next step in this problem solving process? So we're going to bring down the negative 6x greater or equal to 18. Notice 12 plus 6 is 18. So what will be our next step in this problem solving process? Our next step will be to divide both sides by negative 6 because we want to isolate x. Because the problem calls for us to solve for x. So therefore, we are going to proceed now to take negative 6x greater or equal to 18 and divide both sides by what? By what? By negative 6. Whatever we do to one side of the inequality, we must do to the other side of the inequality. So therefore, we're going to do negative 6x all over negative 6 and then 18 over negative 6. But watch out for something. Something important is about to happen. The inequality symbol is going to be reversed because there is a rule that says when you are solving linear algebraic inequality or algebraic inequality, that if you divide both sides of the inequality by a negative quantity or multiply both sides by a negative quantity, the sign of that quantity must be reversed, or the symbol in this case must be reversed. So the greater than symbol now will become what? Less than or equal to symbol. Less than or equal to symbol. So let us use this here. Less than or equal to symbol. So do not miss this. Whenever you're solving an algebraic inequality problem, when you divide one side by a negative quantity, you must do the same to the other side. However, the sign of the inequality must be reversed. The inequality symbol must be reversed. If it is greater or equal to, it will become less or equal to. If it is less or equal to, it will become what? Greater or equal to. So therefore, we have negative 6 divided by negative 6. We have 1, and here we have 1. How many times will this number go into 18? Well, we can write this as what? So we now can have x is less than or equal to what? -3. X will be less or equal to -3. X or equals to x is less than or equal to -3. So how do we represent this problem graphically? In other words, how do we represent this solution on the number line, the real number line? How do we do this? Well, we must draw the real number line. Must draw the real number line. Notice that we have the real number line. We are going to have a famous number known as what? The number 0. The number 0. Numbers to the right of 0 are of course known as positive numbers. On the other hand, numbers to the left of 0 are known as what? Negative numbers. So therefore, 1, we have 2 here. Now we have 3. We have the number 4 here. We have the number 5. On the left side, we have the number -1. We have the number -2. We have the number -3. We have the number -4, and of course we have the number -5, and so on and so forth, and then and so on and so forth. So this number on the right gets infinitely larger and larger, whereas the ones on the left side of 0 get what? Infinitely lower and lower. So let us now represent x is less or equal to -3 on the number line. So we are going to locate -3 here, and since it is less or equal to, so -3 will be part of the solution, and then we must note that by darkening the circle here, and then everything to the left of this little circle. Everything to the left of a little circle is also part of the solution. So again, -3 is a solution, and every number less than -3 will be also a solution. So this is known as the graphical representation of the solution inequality. So this is the graphical what? Representation. Of the solution of the inequality problem. Linear inequality. This is the graphical solution, and this is a regular solution. I hope that you have been able to learn something today by joining us in Mathcon Universe and the wonderful world of mathematics. And I would like to encourage you to practice this type of problem more and more. And the more you do so, you will continue to build a strong knowledge base in mathematics and develop your problem-solving confidence. Thank you very much.